Hi everyone, welcome back. Nicole here with Edge of Wild, and we are going to do our first garden tour this morning. So everything's looking so-so, I would say. Stuff that was started from seed, stuff that's happier about being transplanted, stuff that was started later is happy. Stuff that was started really early, not so happy. So like the asters look questionable. The snapdragons don't look terrible, but they're definitely pretty windswept. I think they were much happier last year when I had started them like 2 weeks later. So I think lesson learned this year is I think even though I think I can get them out earlier, I might start them later. We dealt with so many frosts or frost warnings that I really didn't want to put everything out and then have to cover it, and I really didn't want to deal with possibly losing it. I mean, our last frost warning was like the 25th of May, and usually May 20th is the end of it, and we had a frost rate at May 21st. So it's just the year it is, but like we'll see how everything turns out. I think it'll turn around. Just there's some growing to do. There's some rebounding to do on some of the plants, especially because we went from having frost warnings to now hanging out at like 50-ish or a little higher at night. But the days are like 80 with super intense sun. We haven't had any rain. It's like it just decided, okay, now it's summer now, period, end of story. And now we're dealing with a lot of heat, which some of the stuff doesn't necessarily love. I don't think my ranunculus are going to bloom at all. So, failed experiment there. I don't think I'm going to give up though. I might come up with a different plan for them. I don't know. Wheels are still spinning on those. But let's take a look at everything. Okay, so right here at the start, I put in a little patch of the triticale. The rest is on the hillside. I was down there the other day and have not seen germination on it, so I'm not sure what will happen there. But we're starting to get germination here. Some self-seeded caladiums. I left a little patch to pull some of the ones that are in the walkway and put them into here. These are sunflowers that I just put in last night. I have another succession in the basement to do the next patch. And then I'm going to start doing the rest of that row from seed all the way down here at the end. I have 4 of the mahogany splendor hibiscus, right? Yes. I put 4 of them inside the fence just because I didn't know how the deer were going to like them, and I didn't want to lose them all. Here are cucumbers. They hate being transplanted, so they look so-so. This empty space is all going to turn into glads. We'll jump down to the next row. My wind chimes. I have asters in this row, and these are the ones that probably look the saddest. And it's just because they were so tall. Like, they had so much foliage to support when they got out here. Kajari melons on that side. I think maybe one of those plants is going to make it. Don't know. Some of these asters are really like rooted in and are starting to push new growth really well. But a lot of them are kind of sad looking, so we'll see how they fare. Here are the ranunculus. I did pot them in or put them in the ground. Looking back, I probably should have picked a shaded area, but I didn't think it was going to warm up quite like this. Anything over like 70 and they're not happy. So to be an intense 80-degree sun heat, they're not fans. Snapdragons down this whole row. This trellis has the cherry tomatoes on it. This trellis has the full-size tomatoes. This has, oh, there's a couple little buds. What are these flowers? What is the name of them? It's totally escaping me right now. It's not asters. Agerarium. That's what it is. So, a couple little white buds there. A couple little purple buds there. I don't know if that's going to get to a workable height. So, we're just going to... I did a little patch to see. Beans are in the ground here. Just put those in so they're not really anything to look at because I haven't done anything yet. I'm imagining they will here by the end of the week. Down at the end of the snapdragon row, the snapdragons that looked really, really terrible all died. So I put a little patch of status in here. Radishes all came up and were super happy. Peas are up and happy. I've been picking at the radishes because they are ready. Roasted radishes are so delicious. I'm excited for peas. Onions are all starting to look pretty good. Bindweed. Morning glory, whatever you want to call it. Don't let that weed grow. Most of the sweet onions have popped back, so I'm happy with that. More status. And then a sowing of beets, which are starting to come up. Spinach, which I've harvested some, but I haven't totally kept up with it, as you can tell. More status tucked in here, because once the spinach is done, I didn't want a totally blank spot. Or not, right? Status? No, not status. Feverfew. That's feverfew. Duh. This whole row is status. The whole thing. So all of my status is in here. It's pretty heavily planted, so we will see how it does. But everything is in the ground there. This row has blue plerum. And then this row over here, or this part here, this is all annual phlox. And then I have celosia, half of which looks good, half of which looks sad. I think I might have two of the like orangey apricot color that I had from last year's from Save Seed. They looked really good. So all the ones that are floppy and meh are from Save Seed. The ones that all look good are from Johnny's Seed. Kind of why I say Johnny's Seed is the best. A handful of marigolds here. Potatoes are here. They're starting to peek out from under the straw. I covered them with straw at our last frost warning because they were starting to push out of the ground pretty well. They'll push through the straw and be good to go before you know it. This is all Rebecca, which is starting to root in pretty good and take off. Then I have Delphinium here. These are probably not going to be usable this year, but that one's starting to push some buds. I don't know if it's because they're wicked stressed out or, you know, anything like that. Here are some Sweet Williams, which is also starting to push some buds. Also, I'm assuming because it's very stressed out. I'm hoping these perennialize here, so I'm hoping this whole section ends up perennial. That is Common Sage from last year. I may regret it because I think it's about to set seed. Yarrow's got buds on it. So that is starting to show some chance at color here. More Rebecca. Marigolds. Which some of these had buds when I planted them, so we'll see how they do. This is where I put all of the straw flower. I think I put another Kajari melon here, but that doesn't look promising, so I don't know. We'll see. More feverfew here. I don't remember if it's cucumber. It might be cucumber. More or less what's on the trellises are going to be a surprise until they start growing, because I did not keep track of what I put where. I just need to get them in the ground because it was dark. There's a little tiny sowing of feverfew. That one's a tiny baby plant. Turns into that. There's basil, so I have a little bit of purple and then a bigger section of lemon basil. Here I put dahlias and lilies. And then I did poppies and a little bit more of my blue plurum in this row. This I will fill up probably with glads, honestly. Here are the Brussels sprouts. They're looking good. They looked unhappy for a while, but they're looking good now. Celery. Lettuce, it's probably gone bitter at this point with the heat. Kale, that'll just happily do its thing. And the cabbage has actually put on a lot of size here in the last week. Here's more cucumbers. I don't think they're going to turn into anything, so don't hold your breath. Here are the carrots. And like right now, one half of this trellis has good germination, because like that's a carrot. This whole row here of carrots came up. And I see a decent amount of carrots over there, but for some reason, that spot is totally blank. I don't know if things got too deep there. I don't know. It's got to be something with either the, like, it's not the toilet paper and not the seed, because there's seed coming up in the back. So it has to be something with the soil. So it either dried out too much, or like just never germinated. That was too deep. I don't know. More cucumbers. Volunteer dill. Actually planted dill. And then I have summer squash. I think it's actually zucchini. 2 hills of zucchini and then a hill of summer squash. And that's, oh, and these. Forgot these. So zinnias. I just put a succession of zinnias in the ground. I have another succession to go out. And then I'm going to start some more from seed. So that's everything that's in the garden right now. So that's our first look at the garden. Everything is in besides successions at this point. I may end up going to buy some cucumbers because I don't know that mine are going to do well. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to give them a little bit of time to see if they rebound. If really, I could plant some seed because I still have leftover seed for most of them. I could plant some seed next to them and let the seeds just germinate and come up. That would probably be fine. But yeah, so those don't look like they're going to do great. I'll have to try again. I'm really hoping I at least get like one Kanjari melon plant to grow so that I know if I like it, so that I know that I want to grow it again. So fingers crossed for one of those. As the tomatoes get bigger, I will start to trellis those, tie them to the cattle panel. The peas are almost to a point where I can start treating those. If they happen to be close enough, they'll grab hold and just kind of do it themselves, but otherwise you kind of have to like gently weave them in and out. I've already seen a couple that I've had to like gently tease back off the onions and be like, no, that's not your home. So, but thank you for coming along. I'm excited to watch the garden grow. It's so big this year. I feel like it's gonna fill up and just be an overabundance of flowers, which I will be so happy about. So. The water is working really well. I really do like having the drip system. I'm able to turn it on for 20 minutes. And then if I turn it on in the evening, especially with the intense heat we've been having, even once you turn it off, it still leaches for a little while. So like, it still gets water and everything's pretty well watered, even where it's not directly next to the drip tape. So I would recommend the drip tape at this point. It really wasn't that hard to install. I would take the time to plan out my layout before I order everything and find out all my parts and reach out to the company and talk to them, but I like it so far. So more to see as we come through the summer, how it does. Okay, I'm going to sign off and go find my children. I hope you'll have a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next one.